Where are you going? Where have you been? Who are you and who are you to be? And have you surrendered and have you accepted? And are you a person of God or are you not? Those are the questions that we still have to look at amidst the fog and the confusion of all the information that comes our way. And those two men on the cross, one looked inside himself, repented and was saved, and the other was not. And the same question is there for each one of us. So as we walk this path this week of Holy Week and preparing for the resurrection victory, the question before us is, which person on the cross represents us? Have we indeed surrendered our life? Have we given up our past? And have we accepted the new life to which God calls us? The surrendered life, that's what the Easter story is all about. Let me share with you just one image real quickly. It's an image that's sort of welded into my mind, and I want to share it with you as I close. And it's an image that you often see in textbooks and in History Channel. It was taken on September the 2nd, 1945. It was on the foredeck of the USS Missouri as it was decked and docked in Tokyo Harbor. They called it lovingly the Great Mo, the Mighty Mo, the great battleship, the Missouri. There on that foredeck that day, General Douglas MacArthur stood, as he often does, with his corncob pipe in hand, his aviation sunglasses on, and his helmet, standing erect and looking over the proceedings. The decks were full of soldiers and some Marines watching the conclusion, the official conclusion, the official surrender of Japan, ending all hostilities of World War II. General MacArthur stood there, and he must have been thinking about the long journey that had brought him to this point, because he had been in the Philippines, and his troops had endured the long death march at Bataan, and he had orchestrated the island jumping that had taken the Allied forces back through the Pacific. But there he stood, September the 2nd, 1945, on the foredeck of the Missouri in Tokyo Bay, and all these soldiers around. And forward came the Prime Minister of Japan with his small entourage, humbly walking before to sign the official papers concluding all hostilities for World War II. And upon his signature, General Douglas MacArthur stood up and said, "These proceedings are concluded." And with those words, 400 B-29s came roaring over the flight deck. 1,200 aircraft carrier planes came roaring behind them, an awesome display of power. And yet so few people would have known that day that from the rubbles and the ashes of the bombs on Japan, that those people would go back, their lives would be changed, their economy would be changed, and they would one day, Japan would step back up with the help of nations others to be the great nation and the great economic power it is today. It's a great vision of total surrender, and yet what can happen when that surrender is complete, and what God can do with people beyond the surrender. My life and your life, and the surrender we're asked to participate in will never be on the History Channel or the front page of the paper. But it's no less significant and important for you, for your children, and for your loved ones, and for your descendants. Are you willing to abdicate all hostilities? Are you willing to let go of your past self? Are you willing to say, "Lord, forgive me for what I have done. I let go of the old," as Paul says, "and I want to take on the new"? If you are ready to go there in complete surrendered life, then, my friends, you are ready for Holy Week and the promise of the resurrection next Sunday. Would you join me?